Will the Flood ever return in Halo Infinite? Since Halo 3, we've been always asking ourselves, will the Flood be in the next Halo game? And as of now, 3 games later, still no sign of them at all. To many, this is really surprising as the Flood are such a pivotal part in the Halo universe, but in Infinite, they were mentioned a heck of a lot. So the question is, when will they return? And how will they return? Well, in this video, I want to give you a couple of ways that 343 could reintroduce the Flood in Halo Infinite, some of the theories that I've got around it, and some of them that I would really like to see. DLC at the moment is really the only available method now, so if the DLC works how I think it will, I think it could really work well, and it could be a massive surprise for a lot of the community. But guys, if you do go on to enjoy the video, do consider leaving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more content coming pretty much every single day. Today's the last day to hit 10,000 subscribers. I think we're around 350 away as of recording this video, so come on guys. I know that we can do this. If we do hit 10k, then of course I'm giving away a copy of the Halo Infinite campaign to a random subscriber, and of course 10,000 online multiplayer credits to spend to your heart's content in the overpriced store. But also one more thing before we get into the video as well, something I wanted to add in here. I've started a Discord server. Yeah, really original, I know, but I'm hoping for this to be a great way for the community that we're trying to build to, again, grow together and discuss all things Halo, hang, and have an all-round good time, with all exclusive giveaways, early announcements, and just really good vibes. So the link will be in the description down below if you want to go and join. The first 100 people to join will be entered into a giveaway of some Halo Infinite multiplayer credits, so just to give you a bit of an incentive there as well. And yeah, we haven't decided how many we're giving away yet, but it'll be worth your while. So definitely go join if you want to be in for a chance to win those. But guys, without further ado, let's get straight into it. In Halo Infinite, the Flood are mentioned throughout the entire game, alongside the new faction that we're yet to be introduced to, the Endless. The Endless are a faction that are apparently worse than the Flood. Is this the biggest cap of 2021? A lot of the community seem to think so. I think the struggle behind this thought is that the Flood are literally the worst thing that could ever happen to the universe, like literally infecting people and turning them into literal space zombies. What is worse than that? For me, I don't think we'll be seeing the Flood back for at least 2 DLCs into the Halo Infinite DLC cycle. I think the first DLC will flesh out who the Endless are, how Atriox is still alive, of course, at the end of the game, why the Endless were imprisoned, and why they're worse than the Flood, because again, that's the question that everyone needs to know at this point. But at the end of DLC 1, we'll have a little teaser showing us what to expect from Halo Infinite's DLC 2. Whether that's the Flood Silex that was teased at the beginning of the Halo Infinite campaign or something else, we don't know at this point. One of the things that I want you guys to take into consideration though, and some of the theories that I have that I want to share with you in this video, are around some of the beloved characters in the franchise. And we all know that Halo loves to kill fan favourite characters rather on or off screen. For example, Johnson in Halo 3, Miranda Keyes in Halo 3, Noble 6. Is he in a cave? Is he dead? We don't know. The whole of the Noble team pretty much, other than Jun, which we don't know where he is. Like, man, give us an emotional break. I think that they're going to follow a similar suit in Halo Infinite though, and I do think that this trend will continue. What if, take this theory into the back of your mind and let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. Is it a controversial one, or do you think it could potentially happen? The Infinite DLC 1 ends with us being on the losing side of the battle. The Endless are now free. We learn all about their plans to regain control of the mantle, wipe out humanity and all other unworthy species. And then at the end of DLC 1, we're hit with a bombshell. The Endless then go on to state, maybe in a big grand reveal in the Silent Auditorium or something, that we are immune to the Flood's infection. There are 10 proto Gravemind based on this ring, and we will find and release them all. Starting with this one, the one that was found and teased at the beginning of the Halo Infinite campaign in the Silex contained in a square force field. Now, it is apparent, like how the Harbinger was released, that a Reclaimer is required to open this Forerunner technology to activate the Silex and release whatever is inside of it. If the Endless are not Reclaimers and they're unable to do this themselves, then they need a Reclaimer to be able to do that. So, of course, Lucas Browning was captured by the Banished to release the Harbinger. What if a similar thing is done but to release the Flood? Now, hear me out here. If the Endless are immune to the Flood, then them releasing them, how are they going to try and infect someone? What if they had a Reclaimer release the Flood, being the first infected, and that's how it starts? Hear my theory out here. So, the Endless require a Reclaimer or a Forerunner to activate this Flood Silex. If they can't do it, what if they captured a fan-loved character? And the only one, of course, that we know in Halo Infinite is the pilot. Picture this. We see a cutscene at the end of the DLC where the leader of the Endless forces the pilot to open the Silex, and he was captured within the end of maybe DLC 1. The pilot places his hand on the Silex and it begins to open. Moments later, a single infection form pops out, at first querying its surroundings and looking around, assessing the situation. He finds his prey, the pilot, and proceeds to infect him. Following on from this, hundreds and thousands of infection forms rumble out of this Silex. This would be how DLC 2 begins, fighting the waves of the flood. Then, the weapon picks up the pilot's communication. He's speaking like Captain Keyes was in Combat Evolved when captured on the Truth and Reconciliation, when it was flood infested.
No human life signs detected. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do.
The Chief and the weapon walk into a forerunner structure, like in Combat Evolved, where they find the flood for the first time. It's dark, it's quiet, with noises and screams all around and in the background. The Chief and the weapon notice in the background very faint patters on the floor, almost like there's something running across the ground. Sounds a lot like infection forms, but Chief shrugs this off and doesn't quite clock onto it just yet. This is then where we hear screams and roars of some sort. The weapon responds, "What was that?" And the Chief goes, "Nothing good." Oh my god, give me a story writing role right now. We come across a door, half opened. The Chief forces it open and walks in. Silence. But then in the corner of your eye, you see something. And out comes an infection form. It runs towards Chief and the Chief proceeds to stamp on it. But then he hears a rumble in the background. Almost like something was running towards him or a multitude of things. Moments later, thousands of flood infection forms come rushing towards him and the weapon, followed by one single combat form, or even a juggernaut, the pilot. How cool would it be to have flood juggernauts back and the pilot be the first one? Oh my god. The Chief and the weapon sprint out of the facility, taking out the flood as they come across them, and finally they come to an exit, and they're met with a horror sight. The ring and the facility is covered in flood infection and combat forms. From surviving UNSC soldiers to helpless members of the Banished, they didn't stand a chance against the flood. I think if the pilot was killed off, the community of course wouldn't be happy with it, to say the least. But man, they killed Johnson, so for me anything is possible at this point to make an engaging story. This is then when maybe we hear or see a cutscene involving the Proto Gravemind or the Endless, or maybe even the pilot, as Captain Keyes was, is used as some form of Proto Gravemind. So again, that could be a different part of the story there. And we don't know if the Banished and the Endless are working together just yet. We don't know if the Harbinger or Atriox were working together, because you've got to remember in the campaign as well that Atriox wasn't mentioned once by the Harbinger. And why would Atriox want the Banished to think that he's dead? The army that he's worked so hard to build, why would he want them to believe that he's dead? So we don't really understand that part of the story just yet. But if for whatever reason they were working together and they decided that the Banished were now not part of their plans, they betray the Banished, and that's where the story begins. This could then lead on to my theory where DLC 3 begins. Atriox and the Banished are being slaughtered left, right and centre, with the UNSC not far behind. Atriox is battling and fighting against a horde of the Endless with the Flood and an army of the Banished. They are all infected and it just leaves Atriox on his own. He notices the Chief also fighting to the left of him, not noticing his presence at first, but then they immediately lock eyes with each other. The Endless and the Flood's horde were taken care of by them both, but then it was just the two of them. In one of the coolest sounding scenes that I've thought of just in my head. Now hear me out on this. Atriox drops all of his weapons, and so does the Chief, and they decide to slug it out just with their fists. This time, the Chief had the upper hand, clearly winning the fight and using the surroundings to his advantage. If you remember at the beginning of the game in the cutscene, it looks as though Atriox got the upper hand because of his modified gravity hammer, completely frying the Chief's energy cells inside of his suit. That's no more now, so the Chief now has the upper hand. As he's about to take the last blow, the The weapon screams, "Stop." She then explains and talks both parties, Atriox and the Chief, into a temporary alliance against the Flood and the Endless, explaining that the Flood leaving the ring with the Endless is a way bigger feud than the little quabble they both have between them. Atriox apprehensively agrees and states his alliance will be over the second the war is finished. From then on, they team together. And you never know, they may even become allies. This is my theory, and I think that it would make such an engaging and entertaining storyline. A lot of people might disagree with this theory, and in my previous theory videos, a lot have. And a lot of people want Atriox to just be the villain. And yes, I do agree in some capacity, but man, I think it's just staring us in the face at this point. Two factions that should never really be friendlies, like humanity and the Covenant from Halo 2, when the universe and the lives of their species were at stake, they put their differences aside and teamed up for the greater good. For me, this would bring back massive Halo 2 vibes and pure nostalgia, and just goes to show that the species will do anything for their own. And I think this is massively apparent for the Banished. If you guys don't know what Atriox's story is, I'll leave a link to a video in the description. I really urge you to go check it out if you guys believe that Atriox is just the bad guy. Go check that story out and then come back to this video and let me know what you think, because Atriox is only doing what he's doing because of the past that he's had. Atriox doesn't want to be bossed around, or doesn't want to be essentially betrayed by any of the upper prophets or any of the people that seem to be higher than he was. And against all odds, he survived everything that was thrown against him, just trying to be the soldier that he was brought into the army to be. Atriox survived multiple suicide missions, and in the end was essentially betrayed by the prophets and the Sangheili watching over him. He didn't take this and didn't stand for it, and all of the brutes and other Covenant that were watching him were in envy of this, and they wanted to follow in his footsteps, which is where Atriox formed the Banished, and this is where we are today. The Banished are a series of brutes and neglected Covenant soldiers that just want to be free and fight for what they believe they need to fight in, not have unnecessary conflict, but fight when it's needed. And with their brute homeworld being destroyed by Cortana, this is their motivation for taking over the ring. So why would Atriox not want the best for the Banished? And if that means teaming up with humanity, you've got to remember by this point as well, in my previous video about the Chief and the Arbiter killed over 1 billion human soldiers within the Human Covenant War. The Banished have not done anywhere near that, so why would they not be able to team up? So again, let me know in the comments down below what you think, but for me, I think it's staring us in the face here, guys. This could be a really good matchup, only a temporary one, and then in DLC 4 we could have the most epic boss fight between the two of them. We don't know. Again, it's just a theory at the end of the day, but I'd love to know your thoughts and theories down below in the comments. But I think this sounds so fucking cool. Overall though, guys, I do think the Flood will be back, and I think they might pull at some of the OG Halo fans' heartstrings a bit when they try to introduce them or reveal them. You've also got to take into account that Halo Infinite is a lot of people's first Halo game, same as Combat Evolved was for most of us. This means that they could carry out a very similar introduction to the Flood that they did back in Combat Evolved, and even reference some bit from Halo CE in Infinite's reveal. I think it's such a missed opportunity if they don't do this, and to have the pilot to be the one character that gets infected and introduces the Flood to us as a Juggernaut form or something, shit. I think that would be one hell of a controversial decision. Not everyone would like it, but man, it would definitely be one that you remember. And I think that's one of the things that you need in storytelling. You need those moments to remember. Imagine in 3 or 4 years time, you look back at this moment and say, shit, I remember when the pilot just came storming out of that one door as a Juggernaut form, which again, we've never seen in Halo games, and they were cut from a lot of previous Halo games, the Juggernaut forms. Imagine that being the big reveal of the Flood, and then having loads of infection forms just run past them, like in the Halo Wars 2 trailer. I think that would be so sick. But guys, let me know down below what you think. I'd be really interested to know. But yeah, have a great new year tonight, guys. Make sure you're all safe as well and enjoy yourself when you do into the new year. A big year is ahead of us in 2022, and I really can't wait to do that and to put it forward and just see where we go with it. It's going to be a really interesting year, and I've got to thank you all for the support in the last month or so. You've really changed everything from the perspective of YouTube for me, where the channel was blew up a lot. And yeah, 2022, I'm going to make sure it's a really good year for us. But guys, drop a like if you did enjoy today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're brand new. Again, 10,000 subscribers before the new year. I think we're like 350 away, and again, we'll be doing a big giveaway to some of the subscribers randomly. So yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys. Don't forget to check the Discord in the description as well. The first 100 people to join will also be entered into a giveaway for some multiplayer points, so make sure you go do that. It's free, so you might as well join. And again, make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts and opinions down below. Speak to you soon, guys. Take care, stay safe, Happy New Year.